AfriForum to lay charges of corruption, fraud, and money laundering against EFF's Malema and Shivambu. The civil rights organization AfriForum said it will file criminal charges against economic freedom fighters EFF leaders Julius Malema and Floyd Shivambu following claims that they financially benefited from the VBS Mutual Bank scandal. AfriForum is accusing the two of corruption, fraud, and money laundering. This comes after the bank's chair, Tshifhiwa Matodzi, alleged that Malema and Shivambu were implicated in accepting illegal benefits from the bank. Matodzi pleaded guilty to 33 charges, including corruption, theft, and money laundering. He stated that the EFF has received monthly donations and so-called business loans of millions of rands from the bank since 2017 through a front company, Schameka Projects. According to Matodzi's allegations, the EFF received the money as a bribe, with Malema and Shivambu in particular benefiting personally. Many low-income depositors in Limpopo were affected when more than 2 million rand was taken from VBS. In a statement, AfriForum's Kali Kriel argued that Matodzi's statement provided sufficient grounds for the NPA to obtain a preservation order on Malema and Shivambu's assets. The state's failure to prosecute Malema for his part in the on-point engineering corruption case has apparently given him the impression that he is untouchable and that he can simply continue with his involvement in alleged corrupt activities. That is why it is important that Malema and Shivambu are persecuted for the plundering of VBS to send a very clear message that nobody is above the law, Kriel said. Kriel said that should the state fail to prosecute Malema and Shivambu, AfriForum will consider private prosecution as an alternative. However, Malema and Shivambu maintained their innocence in the matter. Meanwhile, the Democratic Alliance DA has also called for fresh action against alleged VBS corruption. The party wrote to the Police Portfolio Committee Chair, Ian Cameron, requesting that he summons SAPS to appear before the committee and explain why there has been no progress into the charges that were laid against Malema and Shivambu in 2018 over VBS. Meanwhile, GNU will not be derailed by detractors, say Buthelezi. Police Service and Administration Minister Mzamo Buthelezi said South Africans should begin to see who has their best interests at heart. Speaking during the budget vote for his department, Buthelezi reminded parliamentarians about a statement made by former President Nelson Mandela about moving away from pessimism, division, limited opportunities, turmoil, and conflicts after casting his vote in 1994. It is true that in 2024, 30 years after that, we have got people who are left before 1994 who can stand here on this podium and tell the people of this country that this government shall never work, but it does not concern us, he said. We are not worried and we are not going to be shaken. This country is going to be taken forward. We have a commitment to our people. We have a commitment to our constituencies, he said to heckling from the EFF and MK parties MPs. And we shall not allow it to be derailed, Deputy Speaker, by people who are harboring bitterness because of their poor political judgment. They decided not to be part of rebuilding our country, and as a result, we are out in the cold, Buthelezi said. His utterances attracted points of order from the EFF and MK party members, with some speaking in isiZulu in the absence of interpretation services. There were heated exchanges between Deputy Speaker Aneli Lotred and the opposition parliamentarians as she tried to control the House amid calls by some MPs that Buthelezi stop making references to the government of national unity. Buthelezi said they would be geared towards regaining public trust in institutions that are mandated to serve the people. A professional, ethical, and capable public service that is responsive and that works must become a reality in this era we're entering. For this cannot remain a mere pipe dream 30 years on into our democracy, he said. The minister also said they wanted those who are serving the public do so with a renewed sense of pride and respect for their profession. Service is not a job. Being in service to others means that you have answered a calling. We must ensure that those who live in rural areas will get the same quality service, whether they are in rural Mtualume or urban Gqeberha. He warned that there would be swiftly act against those who abuse the state and that disciplinary processes would be completed timelessly. On the other hand, ANC to conduct a post-mortem after bad election showing. Following the disastrous election performance, the ANC chairperson in KwaZulu-Natal, Siboniso Duma, says the party will rope in experts and academics to conduct a post-election assessment. The once dominant ANC dramatically plunged from 54% to 18% during the May 29th elections, relegating the party, which has had a tight grid in the province, to the opposition benches. Reflecting of this during the media engagement with independent media editors and reporters, Duma said the party was in survival mode. We are going to assemble a team of academia and former leaders of the ANC. They are going to give us proper, well-researched feedback so that we don't switch hand. He added, we would not want to thumbsuck about the election's results because this election was about many different things. With the 2026 local government election less than 2 years away, the ANC is racing against time to hatch a political plan to regain its lost ground. We are 17 months before a local government elections, so we must move with speed. In the main, we have agreed that we will not dismantle our election structures, he said. During the same engagement, Duma repeated the claims that some ANC leaders in the province worked with former President Jacob Zuma Umkhonto weSizwe Party, MKP, to topple the ANC from power. There are those not even who collaborated, but who worked for the MKP, and they will be taken out of the system, ANC. Others are still going to be internally ANC. They are not going to leave the ANC because others are councillors. That is the reality, said Duma. If the MKP had won the elections, there would have been an exodus on ANC leaders defecting the party that ranked in 45% votes in KZN, 6% short of garnering the 51+ outright majority. This resulted in the party taking 37 seats in the KZN provincial legislature with 80 seats. Nationally, the party managed 14%, translating to 58 seats in the 400-member National Assembly. While the MKP counted its wins, the ANC was reeling from shock after dropping from 44 seats to 14. Despite admitting that some leaders worked with the MKP, he stressed that the party would not embark on a witch hunt to antagonize those leaders. We are not going to antagonize people unnecessarily. Others are already repenting. The ANC is not going to engage in a witch hunt. But where there is proof, we will act against those who work with the MKP, said Duma. He described the MKP as a facade detached from reality. ANC Secretary General Bheki Cele on Tuesday said the party is investigating what led to the loss of support in KZN during the election. And that's it from Egypt's network. Stay tuned to our celebrity and gossip news.